All right. So today we are doing something a little bit different. We are going to kind of start an anime podcast type deal on this channel where basically we're just going to talk about a show for however long. Today we are talking about High School of Dead because this is a show Justin and I both like a lot, I believe.
It's pretty sick.
Yeah, it's pretty sick. And it's definitely one that's fresh in both our minds. So I think it's a pretty good starting point. Also, I think it's probably something that most people wouldn't consider super good, so it's an interesting place to start, maybe. Right?
Yeah, for sure. Like, it's definitely, I think, from people outside from anime who aren't as familiar with it, see it as pretty trashy.
Right, I kind of agree. Yeah, I think so. Maybe this is like a good way to get some perspective on why we like it so much, that kind of shit. You know, I just did my 2-hour fucking long, what's it called, anime listing, and it's like going through all my nines. It's like, oh yes, Jinro, the acclaimed 1990s anime movie directed by Shinichiro Watanabe. Ah, yes. And then also, same rating, High School of the Dead, Booby. So true.
Yeah, so you've given it a 9 on Mal, right?
Right, yep.
Okay, I gave it an 8.
Yeah, I definitely, like, for a while struggled between, like, 8/9 kind of deal. Like, it's pretty in the middle for me, maybe, but I bumped it up to a 9 just because, like, it's one of those shows that's, like, really easy for me to just, like, oh, what do I want to start next? I don't know. Let's just fucking rewatch High School of the Dead. This shit is fun. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I like that show. I feel like I could watch at any point and not be bored.
Right, exactly.
I know there have been several times when I've had like friends over and we're just like, let's just watch High School of the Dead again because it's like funny.
Yeah, no joke.
And pretty cool.
Yeah, I have a consistently good time with the show. I rewatch shows way too much. Like, I have like 200 something shows on my Mal, but I bet a lot of stuff I have watched like 4 or 5 times, which is just like, it's kind of a waste if it's like you want to experience everything, but it's also really fun to just like watch stuff you've already seen.
Oh yeah, most of my 10s I've rewatched like 3 or 4 times, and I'm just like, man, I could have watched like 6 new animes in that time.
Yeah, no joke. I've already rewatched Ashino no Joe like 3 times through or so.
Dude, I'm on like a 3-month trek through Joe right now, and I'm already like, I could see myself rewatching this.
Right? I mean, yeah.
That's especially for another time.
Yeah, for sure. We'll have to talk about that when you finish that shit.
I'm
or
excited.
maybe just when you finish season 1 or something.
Yeah.
But yeah, today we're talking about High School of the Dead. We'll probably just go through each episode kind of individually a little bit, maybe highlight some points, highlight some general stuff we like about it. Any opening thoughts about it? Like something you hear about it a lot, maybe that you want to talk about, or...
Well, an opening thought would be the opening, because holy shit, that opening.
Oh, yeah, you're fucking right, dude. I love that opening.
That song is so good, and I feel like it has no right being that good.
Yeah. People... Okay, so the band that does the opening is the Akaboshi Rockets, right?
Yeah, that sounds right.
They also did at least the first Gate opening.
Oh, that's right. I know we've gotten that on Anime Music Quiz, and I'm like, this sounds familiar.
Yeah. They did that, and... They've done at least one more, but I can't remember what show it is. Apparently people do not like them very much. Like, if you know who Mother's Basement is, that YouTuber.
Oh, yeah, I think they've done some videos on ReZero, I think.
Yeah, I'm sure. You know, his main thing for a long time, probably still now, was, anime openings and analyzing them kind of thing, right?
Yeah.
Usually he doesn't really talk about the music. He just likes to analyze the visuals, that kind of thing, how they tie into the story.
Mm-hmm.
But specifically for Gates, he talked about the song a lot, and it was so stupid. So in the video, it's like meant to be, oh, I'm playing the song in the background. Yeah, I'm playing the opening. But it's actually the High School of the Dead opening. And then at the end of the video, he's like, I tricked you guys. See, they all sound the same. You didn't even know it was the High School of the Dead one and not the Gate one. And I'm like, no.
There's no way. How would you not be able to tell?
Yeah. Like, I get they're similar, and I could maybe even get shitting on them a little bit for like one song syndrome, but like, well, the first one's good, dude. I don't know.
Yeah. Okay. So
Like-
looking it up, they did both the gate openings, I guess.
Oh, okay, they did both.
They also did a Strike the Blood opening, I think.
Oh, Strike the Blood. Okay.
That's all I really recognize on here, but yeah.
That show is an enigma in my mind because the only thing I know about it is I know the character is in Dengeki Bunko, right? She's the spear lady.
Oh,
And,
yeah.
The fighting game, I mean, not the, and like freshman year, like second semester, a couple of my friends and I who watch anime a lot, like it became a meme that I guess it was already a meme that we like learned about that like that girl, she's not the main character, right? Like there's like a guy who's like the main character.
Yeah.
And I don't know, I guess his thing is like he always is like barging in on fights that he like has no business being able to like try to win. Like he's headstrong kind of thing. And so he always busts in, he always says, this is my fight now, or some shit like that. And she always busts in and says, no, senpai, this is our fight. And this happens like a billion times in the show. Like I watched a compilation.
That sounds fucking funny, though.
It's so cringe. I fucking, oh man, I had it memorized at some point because it was so funny. It's like, iya, senpai, watashi tachi wa kenkai desu, or some shit like that. It's so fucking funny. Because it's just like, this dude just punches a wall down or something. He's like, oh, this motherfucker down. And she's like, no. I'm like, oh my, it's so cringy.
We must fight together.
Yeah. But that shit is mad funny. But no, I think the opening is fucking good as hell.
Yeah.
It's really sick.
I think the visuals are pretty good, too. I think the song's definitely stronger, but...
I would definitely say the visuals are quite good.
Yeah.
I don't know. I like a lot of the shots in the opening for sure. It's
yeah,
got a
especially the shot
unique
of
style.
Shizuka fucking running. Massive
Yeah.
fucking tits just bouncing.
Oh, dude.
Dude, it hurts because I'm like, yeah, this opening's really sick. But I'm like, man, I
Yeah.
don't want to show this to most people.
Well, yeah. I mean, the
It's
last
that
like
moral
4 shots
dilemma.
are just each of the girls, like, yeah.
Yeah.
You
You know.
well, you know what?
Well.
Well. Nah, that song's a banger for sure. I guess while we're talking about the music in the show, I mentioned this before, but all of the endings are like there's an ending for every episode, like a separate one, and it's just a whole ass song. You can find it on YouTube because they got re-uploaded in like late 2019. They got re-uploaded in high quality. For the longest time, I was like, dang, these kind of bang, but I can't find them in shit for quality. Like, it's like fucking YouTube 4.
Got the 8-bit rate endings.
Yeah, fucking 8-bit rate endings. I'm like, oh boy, I can hear the static. And then they just randomly got like auto-generated, uploaded or some shit. And I was like,
Yeah.
wow.
They're
They're all
like a
extreme
topic channel or
bangers.
something.
Yeah, something like that. Done by Maron Kurosaki. They're all really fucking good. Particularly, I like the 7th episode ending, Fuzz Fuzz, and there's one called Hollow Men that is also really good. I don't know, there's just like half of them are just like songs I would listen to in my free time.
Yeah. I need to re-listen them because I think when I watched it, I probably skipped most of the endings.
Right. Well, I remember the first time I watched the show, I didn't realize till like halfway through the show that there are scenes at the end of the endings. Like,
Oh, yeah.
and I was like, wait, what? Because I remember in the one episode when they get trapped against like the chain link fence or whatever kind of thing, right?
Yeah.
And they have to hold out there for a while. I remember like starting the next episode, it's like, oh, they are saved already. I'm like, what? What the fuck do you mean they're saved? And I was like, well, shit. Definitely not the biggest blunder I've made watching anime before, though.
Yeah.
I think the stupidest thing I've done is I watched the second season of Higurashi before the first one. Because the website I was on only had the second season, and I didn't know. Like, it doesn't say, like, 2. It says, like, Nikai instead of, like, Ni.
Yeah.
Or some shit like that. Like, I don't know.
I think maybe on that similar vein, the stupidest thing I've done was not realize that they had an OVA that like wrapped up School Rumble for probably 4 years when that was like my favorite anime of all time.
Oh, no.
I just
dude.
stumbled upon, I'm like, wait, Wait, what? Because I was like, damn, I really wish they'd adapt this someday. And it was just there the whole time. It was so sad.
So sad. Holy shit.
It's tragic.
That's really funny. That's really funny though. Okay. All right, might as well get into the actual like episode summaries and shit now. So, first episode, right? Takashi being sad boy about main girl Ray, who they like promised to marry or whatever.
Childhood promise, man.
Yeah, childhood promise type shit. She got held back a year because her dad's a politician and another politician, his son is a teacher and I don't know, blackmail kind of thing. So she got held back a year, and instead of explaining like that at all, she was like, "You just wouldn't get it."
Is that why they broke up? I don't even remember.
That is that. Well, it's not why they didn't like break up because they weren't like really dating. As
were
far
they
as
not
I'm
dating?
aware.
Yeah, okay, maybe they weren't.
So it's kind of like they just drifted apart, and then she got an actual boyfriend from her grade.
Yeah.
So
it's actually
so
a pretty
sad.
cool dude, and
yeah. What's his name? Hisashi.
that sounds
Hisashi?
alright.
Yeah, his name is Hisashi. I liked him a lot, but bad things happened to him in this episode.
Bad things do happen.
Because, you know, zombie shit starts happening. Well, I really like the first scene, how they introduce zombies, because, like, it's just like Takashi is just like watching it from kind of afar, and he's just like, "Oh shit, what the fuck?"
Yeah, it felt very real. I think that's like
Yeah.
a super common theme with this show. Is it feels real.
Right? Yeah, like. That's like one of the ways you would find out about the shit. It's just like you're looking at somewhere far away and it's like, wait, hold on. Like, that does not look right. I also like the way, I'm probably going to be quoting lines from the dub because I've watched it in the dub most recently just because it has a pretty good dub also, but I've watched both a couple times.
Mm-hmm.
Specifically in the dub, the way he says it when he's trying to explain it to like Rei and Hisashi is like, he doesn't say like, "Oh man, they're zombies and they ate each other." It's like, I don't know what the fuck happened. He came through the gate and they fought, and now those teachers are killing each other, kind of thing. It's like,
Yeah.
that's a pretty sensible way to explain it.
Was that like, zombies are like, they're a thing obviously because that's like Japan normally.
Mm-hmm.
It's like they know about them through like media, I assume.
Right, yeah.
So are there any characters that are like super like zombie specialists in that show?
No, I don't think so.
Because I feel like that's like a common thing in most like zombie
Right.
shows. Is there's the one guy's like, "I've been preparing for this forever,"
Yeah,
which isn't really a thing, which is pretty cool.
Right. Like, the closest we get to that is like having a gun nut, which is way more believable than like guy who is an actual prepper or some dumb shit like that.
Yeah, what makes like Koda? What's his last name? Is that his last name?
Kota Hirano? Yeah,
Hirata. Yeah. What makes him really cool is I think of it reminds me a lot of the guy from I'm a Hero.
Oh yeah, I know.
In a sense, because that was like
I've
a really
seen that,
cool
actually.
idea. Because how guns are like really hard to get in Japan,
Right?
and he's like
That's
the
true.
one guy who has a gun, so that makes him like super desirable to most people.
Yeah, I think in general, zombie apocalypse in Japan is way different than it would be portrayed in like the U.S. kind of deal.
Mm-hmm.
Because in the U.S. it's like probably like half the people you know's parents have guns, kind of shit. Like,
Yeah,
I know my parents have guns. I know my friends' parents have guns, kind of deal. But like in Japan, it's like the might have like a guy might have like a big knife or something. Like,
yeah, they're pretty
Or-
uncommon. That might be different nowadays. I don't know if gun laws have changed much over there, but
as far as I'm aware, not really. But
yeah,
like they only really get a gun when it's like, oh, dead police officer, like that kind of shit.
pretty much. And they always have it like strapped to their belts too, or like
Right.
there's like a coil. I don't know. I know that's like a common thing.
Yeah. In general, Japan is just like has a lot less weapons in the open, more knives, right? But like less actual guns, kind of thing. So I think we do see a good bit of that. Like, I don't know, main character uses a fucking baseball bat for most of the
Yeah,
time.
and he uses it pretty damn well too.
Yeah, he'd be swinging that shit.
Let's see, because the first episode is more like I think it passes around between all the characters a lot.
Yeah, it does. There's like a whole scene with, I think like the first introductory scene with like Sai and Kota is like in the first episode also.
Yeah.
But
some random guy dies trying to help Psycho. Rest in peace. Or is it the nurse? It might have been the nurse.
It's the nurse. It's the nurse.
Okay.
He's with the nurse. I forget if that's the first or second episode.
I thought that was the first episode.
I think it's the second episode from the summary I'm reading.
Oh, okay.
But it doesn't fucking matter. Yeah, that scene is like, it's kind of weird. I don't know. I half expected that guy to like actually be a character at some point.
Yeah.
But then he dies very early, and it's like, I guess you kind of get that feeling because like, I don't know. He has a little arc where he's like, oh shit, I actually have to kill a person kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
But then it's like, you can also tell that he's not going to be a character because it's like, he's going through the main part of his arc like off screen, kind of. You just hear him in the background like, I'm sorry, fucking killing this guy.
Yeah.
He's kind of raw though. He's
rather raw.
And Psycho has to kill him, give him the big chop.
The big old chop.
Yeah.
I think the characters are probably what like really like drew me to the show. I think the characters are really good.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Like, I think he's pretty easily my favorite, I'd say.
That's
because I love how they like show him at first. It's just like, oh, he's fat nerd, he's helpless, LOL.
Yeah.
And he pulls out that nail gun and dude goes crazy.
He goes crazy on the revolver sticks, yeah.
Yeah.
he has a lot of really good moments in the show and a lot of development, honestly.
Yeah.
Like, I kind of like that he, like in the first 2 episodes or so, he's like actively kind of stupid.
Yeah.
Like, he just says a lot of like really basic shit to Takagi, like, "Oh, should we call the police? Like, do we go get our teachers?" And it's like, dude, are you?
Can I call my mom?
Are you fucking brain dead? She's like, "Do you think nobody's called the police yet, dumbass?" Like, and yet they're not here. What does that mean? He's like, "Oh,
curious."
I understand. He's like, "I don't know. Should we call the fucking self-defense force?" So it's like, yeah. It's like, for the rest of the show, really, he kind of, like, does not say as much stupid shit. Like, he kind of starts to grasp the gravity of the situation a bit more.
Yeah.
But yeah, the whole first episode is kind of just setting up shit, and they're kind of running through, figuring out, oh, okay, they decide to go to the roof, right? Mm-hmm. That scene gets played, like, 3 times. But the scene looks really cool. I mean...
dude, the fucking directing this show.
Yeah, it's directed by Tetsuro Araki, who directed Death Note before this and Attack on Titan after this, among tons of other things. But those are just, like, the big ones.
That makes a lot of sense. I feel there's a lot of scenes in Death Note where I can kind of feel a similar vibe almost.
Right. He does a really good job with picking like unique angles to shoot from, and then the action just flows really well from there. Like, I could picture in my mind perfectly like the opening shot of High School of the Dead where it's like them starting to run on the rooftop kind of thing. And it's like, it's this weird like side angle, right? But it looks really good.
Because if I remember correctly, a lot of the shots are like pictured in like one setting, but the characters like moving fluently, like without the camera really moving that much.
Right, yeah, that is true.
Which is really cool.
Yeah, I mean, the show, like, I wouldn't say the production quality overall is like great.
Yeah.
But they definitely knew where to invest the most time into and where not to.
Mm-hmm.
Like, the worst stuff you'll see in the show is like CG zombies sometimes kind of deal, and like some characters are off model sometimes and don't look amazing. But for the most part, like, the show looks good when it needs to look good, and that goes a long fucking ways. Yeah,
I'm a pretty big fan of the art style too.
Yeah, I do like the art style.
Like it's unique and it's not like too over the top either.
Right. I mean, in general, also like the character designs are quite good. I'm a big fan of them. I mean, they're on the simpler end for most of the guys, right? But
yeah, Takashi, you could say is like pretty generic, kind of. Although I think he has good design.
Yeah, he still stands out a little bit. Like
he reminds me of like a grown up like Dan from like Bakugan, kind of.
Yeah, a little bit. Like,
He's got the same hair and like the red clothes, kind of.
Right. When I think about describing him, I'm like, oh, it sounds pretty basic. I don't know. But like when I like look at him, I'm like, oh well, he definitely looks like not how. Like he doesn't look basic though.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's just a good mesh together of pretty simple traits, and like I don't know. I think the color choices of this anime go a long way to making everything look rememberable. Like the black on red shirts he has, stick out pretty well.
Because they wear their uniforms most of the show, I think, until they get to like the house,
right,
or the apartment or whatever.
I'm a big fan of green, so I don't mind the white and green, but it is kind of a weird choice. Still,
that is pretty unusual for a uniform.
Like white and like not bright green, like darkish green, kind of like it's weird. But I don't know. Other than that, I don't know. I would say overall, show looks pretty decent. Like it's a little bit older, like late 2000s, right? Early 2010s kind of show.
So when it came out, I don't remember. What was the release date on here? High School of the Dead.
Aired July 5th, 2010 to September 20th, 2010. So.
Oh, 2010, yeah. Okay.
So yeah, this is like, it's like right on the cusp of digital animation type stuff, like or digital processing becoming really popular. But I don't know. It looks quite good for. I think the really kind of notably one of the things that doesn't look amazing is probably the boobs in the show. Like they're kind of weirdly shaped overall.
They do. Their movement also doesn't make sense all the time.
Yeah, it's just like it doesn't. Yeah, I mean, like, right? This is a fan service show, right?
Yeah.
Like, there's a lot of it. If you're not okay with that, you're not gonna like the show. Like, just straight up.
100%. But I also think like even if you're not a huge like fan of fan service, I think it's still worth giving it a shot at least.
I agree. I don't think it like detracts. I mean,
nah.
I remember I watched a video that was pretty interesting about like commenting on the fan service of the show and how like specifically with Rei, a lot of the time like you'll get more fan servicey shots of her, like panty shots and that kind of stuff when she's like losing a fight or in a position of not having much power. But like once she kind of gains control of her, like the fight and her circumstances, like you see less of those shots, which is kind of interesting, right? Like a way to show like control of a situation, kind of. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I get what you're saying, because like a lot of their wardrobe malfunctions are like typically due to like when the situation is more out of control or they're not. Like I think it's a good way to almost represent like how comfortable they are at the current point in time.
Yeah, it's like if there's a panty shot, they like don't have agency over the situation or something kind of deal. It's like that's kind of interesting, honestly. I wonder if that's like really intentional or if it's just like, she fell over. Obviously we can put a fucking panty shot.
Yeah, we could be reading way too far into this.
Maybe a little bit, but it's also I don't know.
High School of the Dead fans, when you say fan service, no, actually,
well, if you looked at it, okay. Each of the stripes is
represents one of their motivations in life.
Oh shit. But yeah, the first episode, I was pretty hooked by the end of the first episode, right? Because
for sure.
What happens is they get to the roof, but earlier in while they're running through the school, Hisashi is bitten. They have good reason to believe that once you're bitten, you're fucked, but they're not entirely sure at this point until they're on the roof and it's like, okay, we're just gonna fucking camp here for a while. It is afternoon, and he starts fucking spazzing out. He's like, coughing up blood everywhere, kind of shit. And he's like, oh, so I guess once you're bitten, you really are fucked, kind of deal. It's like, damn, because he gets bit because they're trying to take on one of the teachers who turns into a zombie, and he's like got this dude in a chokehold, and this dude turns his neck fucking 180 degrees and bites his arm.
Shit was fucked up.
That shit, he's like, what the fuck? That shit was, I was like, damn, man.
Kind of unfair.
Matchup knowledge, come on, dude. I got gimmicked. Oh my god.
Bullshit.
So he's on the fucking rooftop bleeding out. And like one of the last things he says, "Oh, hey Takashi, you want to like push me off the fucking roof, dude? Like, I do not want to die as a zombie. I do not want to kill people as a zombie. That would be fucked up." And it's like,
It's pretty raw.
Yeah, that is extremely raw. I mean, that's just like the kind of person he is, where it's like he will do what he should do. Like,
yeah,
he's a very upstanding young lad. And it's like Takashi's like wants to kind of comply, but he's like, "Oh Jesus Christ, dude, really? Like, holy fuck, I actually have to do that, right?" Like,
yeah. Doesn't Ray get pissed at him too for killing him?
Yeah. So Ray is just freaking out the whole fucking time, right? Like, she's like, "What are you talking about? No, that could never happen. It's gonna be fine," kind of thing.
Yeah.
And they fuck around long enough that, I'm changing, I'm turning into a zombie man, and he gets up and he's gonna kill him, and so Takashi's like, shit, I have to fucking actually man up, and he has some pretty good development where it's just like he really comes to terms with, I have to do whatever the fuck I have to do now. Like, this actually is happening. It's not, I guess people are dying at me kind of thing. It's like, one of my friends literally is dead, and I have to kill him.
Yeah, it ends with the cold cloud of him killing him, right? Pretty much.
It ends with they face up. That's a really good shot, by the way. I love the fucking shot where they swing at each other.
Mm-hmm.
That shot looks really cool. Yeah, because in the dub, what they say is, she's like, no, this can't be. And he's like, it's happening, and he just fucking, like, that shit is so good. It's happening. Yeah, that shit is bad funny.
I need to watch the dub sometimes.
It's a pretty good time, honestly. But yeah, so ends on that shot, ending plays, and there's after credits scenes right in the show.
Mm-hmm.
And then in the after credits scene, what happens is like they're both sitting there and they're like coping mad hard, right? And to like break the silence, Ray is like, you know what I think? Why'd you have to do that kind of thing? He's like, he would have killed us, and she's like, I would rather be dead than he be dead. Oh my god, this is so
malding.
Sad. Yeah, she's fucking malding. She's like, oh, you know what it is? And she fucking smirks at him, and she's like, you wanted to kill him because he was my boyfriend, and you were jealous. Wow, you're such a piece of shit. And holy shit, man, that is some fucked up shit to say. Like,
yeah,
no fucking joke. And so it's funny, he doesn't even like defend himself, like, obviously not stupid. He's just like, sorry you feel that way, and just tries to walk away. Like,
he's like, sure, whatever.
Whatever, dude, fine, I'm out of here.
Whatever, man.
And immediately when he tries to leave, she like sobers up, like, oh shit, I cannot be up here by myself, I will die. Like, she's like, no, I didn't mean jokes, pranks, it's a prank, bro, it's a social experiment. Like, oh my gosh.
Yeah, she's like pretty unlikable, I'd say, most of the way through.
Yeah, ravenous bitch, right? Like, most of the time.
Yeah.
Like,
absolutely cannot calm her.
Yeah, she's like really reactionary and really, do we have to, like, I don't know. Like, man, I forgot that this was like kind of a big meme with the show, was like the first episode, remember when he slaps the shit out of her?
Oh, yeah.
Because dude breaks into the fucking classroom, he's like, fucking throws the door open, and he's like, we have to go. No, seriously, we have to go. Like, and she's like, what the fuck is wrong with you? Are you brain deficient? Like, and he just like, bam, slaps the shit out of her and says, I'm serious. And Hisashi's like, he's serious, let's go.
God, I forgot how good of a character intro he gets, though. Like, you can immediately just get a feel for what kind of person he is. Yeah, right? I mean, this show does such a good job at characterizing its people. Like, Hisashi is in, like, half of the first episode, and it's, like, you kind of get a feel that he has a very different personality from Takashi, where it's, like, he's definitely, like, you know, like I said, like a kind of stand-up guy, like, very believing, trusting in his friends kind of deal. Like, he's the first one to believe him and all that kind of shit, that zombies actually, oh, fuck. No good. So, yeah, that's one hell of a first fucking episode, though, because
Man, that shit is like, holy fuck, a lot of shit happened here.
Yeah, I'm trying to remember when I watched this show.
Mm-hmm.
It was probably middle school or high school.
Oh, it was definitely middle school for me. I would say like, I don't know how old I was, but like 2012, 2013 area probably for me.
Yeah.
Yeah. I wonder why I don't know, the order of shit I watched when I first got into anime was so cryptic. Like Angel Beats was one of the first things I watched.
You tell me. I've watched all of Fairy Tail first.
That's so sad, dude.
I wasted so much of my time, Cole. I could have watched so many anime.
Holy shit, dude.
There's no escape.
Yeah, instead I just watched fucking Angel Beats like 7 times.
Okay, but to be fair though, like I can't really fault you.
Yeah.
I feel like Angel Beats is like a really good starter anime.
Yeah, right? I mean, yeah, no, I agree.
Like it has like everything I feel like a good story should have. Like I don't know if it does anything like specifically stand out. I think it's a good anime, but I don't think it's like it's definitely not super stand out to me.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah.
Except for TK, that guy can kind of spit.
Yo, he kind of did be spitting. But yeah, no. Well, I suppose we should talk about our other characters, Saya, Takagi.
Oh yeah, I do like how they each have like a different hair color. It's kind of smart with like the colorization.
Yeah. I mean, it makes it. I mean, obviously that's like makes it easy to identify characters at a glance, kind of thing. It's like, which one is that one? It's like, oh, it's a purple hair one, right? Yeah. I'm trying to think of the last show I watched where that was like a problem, where I was like, oh my god, who the fuck is this? He looks just like the other guy. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I'm trying. Yeah. It's not super common. I feel like nowadays they specifically try to have like all the characters have different hair colors almost.
Yeah, for sure. And also like character designs have only kind of gotten more and more extreme, it feels like.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I'm watching Legend of the Galactic Heroes, right? One of the impressive things about that show is that there's very few characters with non-natural hair colors and hairstyles, yet you can tell all of them apart. Like, it's kind of hard because there's so many characters, but you almost never confuse characters, and they do all stick out individually in your mind very well.
Yeah.
It's really fucking impressive, honestly, that they that cast has like 100-something characters, and it's like with names and faces and personalities, and it's like shit, you just recognize them all at a glance.
You just kind of know.
It's pretty impressive. But yeah, so you got Koda. He is quite raw, right? We talked about him a bit already.
I do love him.
He has all the shit with him, and Saya is just like, haha, I am the smart girl. I am the genius of the class. You will do what I say. The kids would say tsundere. Dude, I feel like I haven't heard that term actually lately, and it's kind of a blessing, right? Like I don't know about you, but I hate that fucking term, honestly.
Okay. Well, my problem is like I actually like that archetype, so like to me that term
the
is like
archetype
fine.
is good, but like I don't know. I hate. There was definitely a point in time where, I mean, it's still kind of like this, but there was definitely a long point in time where it was like, this is the tsundere girl, and she acts like standard tsundere type 1 cliche kind of.
I just think of the meme Isaiah always posts. She wasn't a tsundere, she just hates me.
Damn, she wasn't a tsundere, she just actually hates me. That shit is mad funny. Oh shit. But like, I don't know. There's a billion videos that are like, well, actually, a good tsundere is this, and it kind of got bastardized over time, right? And I agree with all that, but I don't know. I feel like I don't. Maybe I just don't hang out in anime communities where they do this anymore. But I feel like people don't talk about characters in that kind of vague manner anymore, really.
Yeah, I agree.
There's just less type 1 tsunderes, or maybe I just don't watch those shows
Maybe
anymore.
You don't watch as many trashy harems anymore.
Why is it impossible, dude? Gotta get up. Gotta pick up the Tiloveru Sai.
I feel like they've been releasing Is it? I wouldn't say less harms. I feel like a season or two ago there was like a million of them again, but
yeah,
there was like the season with was Orisuke the same season as Rent a Girlfriend? Maybe it was. But those are both like good shows, I think. So
I think they were a season apart.
Yeah, that could be right.
But no, I agree. I mean, I don't know. I guess the prevalence of isekai has just made it. There was like 4.
Oh, dude, isekai has been like. There's been so many of them. It's actually crazy.
It's fucking crazy. But like 4 or 5 years ago, it was kind of like maybe a little bit longer ago. It was kind of like, holy shit! There's like 12 slice of life shows a season. Kind of deal. Yeah. And I guess there is still a lot of them, but more of them are like now they're kind of a little bit more focused. Like it's like slice of life romance one, or like slice of life this has a gimmick kind of thing. Before it was kind of like, holy shit, there's just a lot of them, and a lot of them the gimmick is just like the gimmick is there's no gimmick. Like watch the girls.
Just here are some characters. I hope you like them, otherwise you will not like this show.
Like I'm thinking like Sancha Sanyo, I Am Happy, Love Lab, shit like that. And it's like I feel like I don't get a lot of that kind of stuff anymore. Or like not as much. I mean, of course, there's so much fucking anime coming out per season, but the ratio has definitely changed a lot. Back to the fucking
I guess we kind of got off track, but that's fine.
That's fine. So yeah, episode 2. I mean, everybody kind of talked about this episode before, right? It's a pretty sick episode. Koda's like, haha, I realized my purpose. I will shoot. He's a gun nut. He's a gun otaku kind of guy.
Yeah.
Finds a nail gun, dumps some zombies. Sai and Kota have a pretty good relationship of like, she comes to respect him now that she realizes he can actually do things. And he kind of has more, he kind of has more respect for himself also. Like he's less, okay, I'll just do what you say. And more like, I get to make some shots here. I am important kind of thing.
Yeah, I love it. He has that like switch between like, yeah, whatever, I'll just do what you tell me. And like, nope, all right, I'm taking over.
Right, yeah.
They told me to take over.
Yeah. I fucking love that clip. Shit is so funny. Yeah, and then they all meet up and, you know, they get out of school and kind of shit like that. I don't know. What do you think about the fucking scene where they're leaving the school and then teacher guy and his classmates board on the bus with them and shit like that?
They're like, I think it's well like written because it feels like somewhat accurate to how students would be.
Right.
Where it's like, okay, yeah, I don't really like this teacher, but like we can't really just leave him to die either.
Mm-hmm.
And obviously adults are like pretty manipulative, and that's shown pretty well.
Right. I love in specific, like, you're like, yeah, most people are like, no, well, we obviously can't just fucking leave him. But Ray's like, nah, leave his ass. Like, literally, he should die. Like,
yeah, I mean, he's like a huge piece of shit. So,
well, yeah, because, well, nobody else knows that, like, he is part of the corruption that held her back and shit like that. So she fucking hates him for that, right?
Yeah.
But, other than that, I mean, in his fucking intro scene, conveniently, no one else watches him fucking stomp the kid out who twists his ankle, right? Like,
oh yeah, that shit. He's like a good antagonist, though. Like, you hate him a lot.
I mean, yeah, you definitely hate him, and like, he's definitely unrealistic, right? But like, not crazy unrealistic. Like, in an apocalypse scenario, you could see like a teacher or some authority figure like definitely manipulate kids pretty hard. Like, like not a ton of interesting stuff happens with it other than like them having to kind of man up to the challenge and kind of just tell them to fuck off kind of deal. But
right,
it's not bad at all for sure. I mean, he like forces Takashi and Rei to kind of like split up with them.
Yeah, they're basically nah, we'll just go.
Yeah, towards the end of the 3rd episode, because she's like, I can't stand him anymore. He is a tool, and she gets off the bus. Takashi's like, no, don't get off the bus. I will come with you. And then a fucking flaming bus full of zombies comes, crashes into them, and splits them up, right?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, my God. That shit is so crazy.
I'm trying to remember what the teacher looks like, because if he looks like what I remember him looking like, then he reminds me of the guy from... Yeah, it kind of looks like the dude from fucking... I'm drawing a blank. Dead Man Wonderland. He looks like the main weird dude from that show.
I haven't seen that show.
It's not very good. That's another story, but the manga's I think pretty good, but the show, not so much.
That was a show that like when I got in anime, I heard a lot about, but just never decided to watch. So,
I like the opening a lot. It's like one of those shows that's almost so cool, but then it just kind of falls flat in a lot of areas.
Unfortunate. Yeah, I don't know. The whole bit where they get split up is like kind of convenient, right? And kind of like, yeah, okay, the bus crashed when they got out. Like, sure, dude, I'll buy it. Like,
yeah,
it doesn't really fucking matter. I mean, this isn't like a super duper tense written like, no, this all has to make extremely coherent logical sense.
Yeah,
kind of shit. But
a lot of the shows kind of just like take it as it happens is sort of the theme.
Right. They get split up. He gets a fucking motorcycle. They're supposed to meet at the police station. They stop at the gas station, right? I really like the episode where they're at the gas station, partially because at this point, like, there's still a lot of tension between those two, right? Because, like, I don't know. Takashi is like, feels bad. Girl, I do kind of have a chance with her again, but also he has mixed feelings now, kind of thing, right?
Yeah.
But just because she's like, I don't know, she's fucking mean and like, I don't know. Like they have a weird relationship at this point for sure, and I don't know. To me, it was kind of always like, yeah, they'll get together, but then it's like, man, her boyfriend literally just died. Like,
kind of rough.
Yeah, it's kind like. It's very awkward. I don't know. They also, like, they kind of have, like, an ego with each other a little bit. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
oh, for sure, yeah.
When they're at the gas station, they're like, oh, let's pump gas into the bike. And it's like, oh, it's a fucking self-serving bike, so you actually have to have money for it. Like, you can't just, like, take it and drive off. Because obviously no one's at the fucking gas station, but, you have to insert your card and shit like that to even get it started. And he's like, oops, I have no money. Can I borrow some? And she, like, kind of gives him an attitude about it. And it's like...
Bitch, I'm trying to live here.
Yeah, like, they just bicker over stupid shit. And I'm like, this is exactly what would happen if, like, two fucking 16, 17-year-olds, like...
with some weird, like, sexual tension between them.
Yeah, right? Like, that scene to me is like, this is exactly how people like this would fucking act. Like, this shit is very accurate.
Yeah, they definitely, like, neither of them really want to, like, apologize to the other. Like, it's pretty clear.
Right, for sure. I completely agree.
But yeah, that episode it's good. It is a little weird, like, when the dude comes in. I don't even remember if he's just, like, a random, like, goon. I think he is pretty much.
Yeah, he's just, like, a random-ass thug. Yeah, he comes in and he, like, fucking takes her hostage. He's like, I'm gonna take the bike. I'm gonna take your girl. Yeah. And it's like, yeah, I mean, fair, I guess. Like,
shit,
bike is pretty fucking valuable asset in zombie apocalypse. But, he doesn't know that fucking Takashi has a gun. But I like that Takashi, like, rather than, like, pulling out and, like, aiming at him and shit, he, like, has to, like, get up in his face with it and fucking point like, at him, because he's like, I haven't shot a gun before, like, I might miss, or something.
Oh, yeah,
That's
yeah.
I won't fucking miss from here, dumbass. Like, that shit is funny.
The dude has, like, a knife, I think, right?
Yeah, he has a knife.
Because he holds it to her, and then he... the fucking the tit groping scene.
No, yeah, he groped the shit out of her.
No. I feel that that could have easily been done without, but
yeah, it's cringy because it's like, since it's a fan service show, it's
too well animated, dude. It's too well animated. I don't like it.
Yeah, it's very creepy. It's like, it's definitely supposed to be like, oh, fan service, but it's like, dude, no, like, come on,
not now.
Nobody wants to, like, actually see that. But it's also like, dude would totally do this. Like,
yeah, I get like, it's always the thing with this show is it's just very, like, raw and, like, not in the meme sense we use it, in, like, the actual sense.
Yeah, because like, I would be almost like, with this type of guy, I would be almost more surprised if he didn't do some weird shit or, like, make a weird creepy comment. You know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure.
You know, and I like when he's making all the threats and shit, and Takashi's like, "Are you fucking crazy, dude? Like, what the hell?" And he's like, "Fuck yeah, I am, dude. Dude killed his whole fucking family because they turned into zombies." He's like, "I just smashed everyone's heads in, including my fucking little sister and grandma." And it's like,
feels bad.
Jesus Christ, dude. Like,
you have to wonder if he was like, I mean, he's obviously like a pretty bad guy, but if he was like not as bad.
But yeah, but if he was like high school delinquent, like he's skipping classes and smoking kind of deal, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
like,
not I'm going to kidnap this random girl and probably do very bad things to her.
Yeah, right. Yeah, the show does a good job of portraying that kind of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And he shoots the shit out of him, and they leave him to die, which is, yeah, I mean, no regrets there.
Sayonara.
Sayonara.
I just thought.
No, the snake clip.
Yeah, you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah. I do like in that episode, because that's episode 4, right? The first half, it's like a recap episode, kind of. I do like that, like, they have a bunch of shots of, like, them just driving around the city to, like, pretty sad opera type music, right?
Yeah.
The whole vibe of that scene is pretty sick, honestly. I really like a lot of those shots, and, like there's just, like, some cats looking at, like, blood on the ground in a purse and stuff like that. And it's like,
oh yeah, because that's like the first kind of establishing shot of like the city, how it is. I think. Right. Like you kind of get inklings, but that's like the first like, yeah, it's fucked, dude.
Yeah, for sure.
Then what else happens in episode 4?
I think that's pretty much the end of episode 4.
Okay.
And I think next we start with 5, where it's like, they start with the airport, right? Where they're on an island or whatever airport.
Yep.
And they got some army goons, got big booby sniper girl, who we find out is a friend of the nurse girl, right?
Yeah, Shizuka, is that her name?
Yep, Shizuka.
Yeah.
And they're gonna make their way to her house because, like, yeah, if she's not there, she's got a lot of stuff we could use and a place to crash at least.
She's geared up.
Yeah, she's mad geared up because she's fucking sniper in like special forces type shit. So
yeah, I don't know exactly what her occupation is. I don't even think they say. She's just like, yeah, she does some like special work.
Yeah, like I'm looking at the wiki here and it's like special assault team. It's like,
yeah.
Okay, sure. Yeah,
whatever.
Whatever the fuck that means. That whole like the airport scene is like, sure, whatever. It doesn't really add a ton other than this character exists and is friends.
Yeah.
Even in the manga, I don't really think we see more of them.
I think the last chapter that was released was with her in it. Like, I think she was definitely meant to become a more prominent character.
I see. I don't really remember.
Yeah, it's obviously been a while. And I guess we'll never know, so that's,
Yeah, I mean, show, right? Indefinite hiatus. So
pretty much.
Very sad. But, yeah, how it goes. What else happens this episode? Yeah, a lot of this episode is, like, the people who stayed behind bickering with fucking Shido and the other stupid classmates kind of deal. Until eventually, like, they kind of just, like, okay, we will leave. But she was like, oh, you guys can leave. But we need that nurse. That's our nurse. That's important. And, she's got the largest honkers, so, like, that's also
Can't forget that.
Can't forget. But they're kind of like, actually, we will go by force. Kota has basically a fucking gun. So, like...
Oh, yeah, because does he give Kota the police pistol?
That's later. He still just has the nail gun at this point.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
They kick him off the bus, don't they?
What's that?
Is that when do they kick the dude off the bus? Is that...
They don't kick him off the bus. They leave
the bus, right? Yeah, okay.
They leave the bus. Because they're supposed to meet up at the police station or whatever, right? But they're, like, stuck in traffic and you can't cross the bridge.
Oh, dude, that bridge scene is so cool.
Oh, yeah, I forgot about that shit.
That shit feels, like, really real, as if to what would happen.
No joke. Most of that happens, like, episode 6, right?
Mm-hmm.
Where it's, like, you got nobody's really allowed to cross the bridge, and in the middle of the bridge is just a fuck ton of zombies on one side for the most part, and a lot of police officers are like, what do? You kind of have a moment where it's like, I don't know, one lady's trying to cross, and like her baby has been bitten. She's like, oh, I need help, kind of thing. And the police officers are like, what do? And then they watch the baby turn and kill her, and they're like, well, fuck, and they shoot them both in the head.
Yeah.
Like, okay, yeah, we actually have to shoot these people.
That scene was just like really hit home because like I think it kind of drives the idea that you can't really depend on authorities anymore either.
Right.
Because they are very untrusting of people who may also potentially be infected, and they will not treat you nicely.
Right, but it's also like they act pretty reasonably for the most part.
Oh yeah, no, I'm not saying they don't. Like that's like pretty reasonable, I think, to what would happen. Says they'd be more concerned about preventing spread than probably actually securing lives.
Oh yeah, which is why they don't let them cross, right?
Yeah, exactly. That's why I think it's just like a really cool establishing shot.
Right. Yeah, for sure. Also with the what's it called? The other thing that happens with the police on the bridge is there's protesters, right, on the news.
Oh yeah.
And they're like, oh, fuck the police. Police are being stupid. It's probably their fault in the first place or some dumb shit like that. And they're like, okay, we have to get the protesters out of here. We don't want too many people grouping up, and we don't want, like, there's zombies coming kind of deal, right? And the protesters are like, nah, fuck you, dude. We're not going to leave. And the police chief just fucking walks up and domes the guy who is the main, like, leader of the protesters. He just shoots him in the fucking head. And it's like, oh, that's some real ass shit, dude. Like, definitely some shit that would happen.
Yeah.
I think the police chief shoots himself at the end too. Like,
I think so because most of their unit starts dying, if I remember correctly.
I don't really remember what happens to most of the unit. I know he's like, do whatever you have to kind of thing, and then it's like, okay, and then you hear like a gunshot in the background, and it's like, chief kind of thing.
Oh yeah.
That's tough decisions to be made.
I think it might be due because they get like a radio announcement about how they're gonna have to like bomb Japan or something.
Oh,
so that might be part of that episode.
Maybe I don't remember. Yeah, I don't know. There's a lot of real shit on the bridge. Oh, do you remember that one scene that's like the delinquent kids trying to cross the bridge and they get fucking water hosed?
Oh yeah.
What the? I just remember that. Like, what the fuck is that?
They get knocked off the bridge, yeah.
Yeah, they water hose them off the fucking bridge in the water, and it's like a goofy scene, kind of like.
Yes.
I wonder if those would have eventually been characters.
I don't even know. That feels like I don't think they ever come back. At least after that.
No,
so.
not one scene ever. I don't know. Show has a lot of kind of random scenes. It feels like. But. So yeah, they make it to Shizuka's friend's house, right? They get some actual guns after they meet up in the police station and shoot the shit out of zombies or whatever. A big fan service episode is episode 6.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or is that? I think it's 6 and 7, like kind of both.
7, it's mostly over-ish, but yeah, 7, it's just kind of like everybody waking up, and I don't know. I like 7 a lot. Because, right, that's the episode where it's like...
the rescue mission.
Yeah. Okay, so the way that episode opens, it's like... Takashi's like... He watches someone kind of, like, die. Like, it opens with, like, a guy with a shotgun, and he eventually loses because he's in a whole ass crowd of zombies, right? And Takashi is, like, upstairs watching with Psycho, and he's like, I'm gonna go down there, I gotta help people. And she's like... Bruh, are you, like, actually stupid? Like, there's a lot of them, Fun fact, you will not win.
Fun fact, there are many.
Fun fact, large. Yeah, and I like, specifically, she hands him a pair of binoculars, and she's like, get used to it. Like, this is just what it is now. You can't save literally everybody.
Dude, Psycho, such a good character.
She's very, what's the word? She's a realist in terms of those kind of things. Like, she's like...
It's very blunt, yeah.
People are going to have to die. Like, there's no getting around it. People you watch are going to have to die. You're just going to have to get over it. Pretty raw. But then, of course, the episode is like, you got the little girl, Alice, and her dad, and they're trying to escape. They're like knocking on people's doors, like, "Oh, let me in," and they're like, "No, absolutely no fucking way, dude. We don't need more people." Which is like, yeah, like, would you let a random stranger into your house during a zombie apocalypse? Like,
yeah, probably not.
Like, you might say it's like the right thing to do in terms of saving the most people, but it's definitely like,
You don't know their agendas, and like,
yeah, you don't know if they're like sane in the first place. You don't know if they're bitten. You might not, even if all those things are not a concern. Do I have the resources to sustain 2 more people in my household for who knows how long I get locked in here? You know what I mean? So of course they're just like, fuck no, dude. But the real fucked up thing is that they're eventually, well, because he's like threatening to break down the door, right?
Mm-hmm.
Eventually, they're like, okay, we'll let you in. And then when they open the door, and he opens the door and walks in, they just stab the shit out of him and push him back out. Like, sorry, buddy, no can do. Which is, oh man, that scene is
really good. Yeah,
that's some real fucked up shit. Like, that's definitely something people would do. Like it's a really horrible thing, and like watching it, like you like the guy, so you're like, oh man, that's so fucked. I can't believe they would do that. But then it's like, man, that is pretty justifiable. Like, dude is forcing his way into your house. You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah, that seems really hard because I mean, he basically dies. He's like, well, guess my daughter has to watch me die now.
Yeah, right. And it's like, he's just trying to save her and shit. So it's like, well, now she's completely fucked. Like, because there's just way too many zombies everywhere.
Shout out to my boy Zeke, though, the dog.
Yeah, fucking stupid ass dog barking the whole fucking time.
Yeah, he's trying to help her, though.
Yeah.
He's doing his best.
Dude, I would never have a fucking, like, small dog in a zombie apocalypse. Fucking beep, 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 beep. It's like, wow, dude, cool. You brought all the zombies in the nearest
Dude, you are going to kill me.
You are actively killing us.
A big dog, though? And maybe we're talking.
Agreed. I don't want to fuck with no zombie dog, though. That shit would be scary.
I play Call of Duty.
Yeah, they're fucking annoying. Too goddamn fast.
So true.
I really like the scene, though, because, like, right, the little girl gets added to the main cast, right? They save her. I really like it, though, because it's, like, it happens after this scene of, like, Psycho is, like, here's some fucking binoculars, get used to this shit. Like, it's gonna be fucked up. We're not gonna go save any of them. Like, that's just the way it is now. But he sees the little girl, he's like, we have to fucking save them, right? Like,
Takashi saves the child.
It's funny because he's, like, hesitating on making the decision at first, and then Koto just fucking whips out the sniper and gats him, right?
Mm-hmm.
That shit is mad sick. And, you know, fucking Takashi has to go down there. He's like, I'm gonna go get the bike. I'm gonna run, go down there. We're gonna go fuck him up. It's funny because, like, at this point, you're kind of expecting Psycho to be like, you fucking idiot. I just said we are not doing that. Like, but she's kind of like, yeah. I mean,
damn, Shody, okay.
Yeah. Like, she's kind of just like, she's like, I have no place to interfere once you've already committed this hard kind of thing.
Oh, you.
Yeah. It's funny because it's like, with zombie shows and apocalypse shows like that, you kind of have to wonder, like, where the main characters are going to straddle the line of, like, are they literally just helping themselves and people they're, like, related to, or are they going to try to save people kind of thing?
Yeah.
And so this show's kind of like, they hit a mix where it's like, most people, they'll kind of try to help them, but it's like, they're not going to go super hard out of their way mostly, but like, every once in a while it's like, I literally have to, like, this fucking 7-year-old girl or some shit, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah, 100%. Because, I mean, they leave most of their, like, old school, I don't even know if they were friends with the people on the bus, but, like, classmates, I guess, are just like, well, sorry, guys, you chose a dumb person to follow. Right. Well, there's the one, some of them were in the same class. I know there's the one guy who just, for no explained reason, just hates Takashi. Remember that? Oh, yeah.
He's like, I just can't stand this guy. And,
motherfucker.
Like, it's so silly. But yeah, they go save her. That's fucking part of it. He has to get closer to where there's not a huge group of zombies with the girl. So he's fucking walking on the top of the fence, basically.
I think it's like a brick wall.
Like a brick wall, like that's surrounding the houses to get to outside of the crowd, so they can take the fucking whole ass Humvee this girl's friend has and get on and escape, kind of shit.
Yeah,
that shit is so fucking terrifying.
Dizzily walk. Yeah, if I slip, we're dead. So hopefully I don't fall.
Yeah, if you slip, you sprain your ankle and then you are killed in the most painful way you could possibly fucking imagine. Like, complete nightmare fuel. And they portray it so well. There's so many times where he like slips a little bit. It's like, oh, I would do that. Oh god.
Oh, that's me. I'm clumsy.
Yeah, like I would misstep slightly and almost die, or maybe I would die. Oh god. Oh god.
Dude, my feet would be too goddamn big for that fucking wall.
Yeah, true. Fucking. Oh my gosh. You got the fucking dog barking in your ear the whole fucking time. Oh, I would chuck him.
No, he's so cute though.
Yeah.
Dude.
I don't know. He's kind of hideous. I don't know. His eyes
I like
are so
him.
big. I don't know. He's weirdo.
He's kind of gross. Like, fucking get rid of him, dude.
He's kind of a foul creature.
I'm just imagining he gets back and just one of them's like, this kind of gross. Fucking get rid of him, man.
Man, what the fuck? Yeah. That whole episode's pretty sick.
Yeah, they get stacked up with fucking guns too in that apartment. Like, I think Takeshi starts rocking a shotgun, doesn't he?
Yeah. And he still has like the pistol and all that kind of shit, so. Yeah, they're fucking. This is the point kind of where like the tide turns a little bit, and you're like, our team is like confident and has a lot of equipment and resources. Like,
I'm pretty confident too.
Yeah, you feel like, I don't know if they could really lose at this point, kind of deal. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then sure enough, in next episode or so, they take a wrong turn. Because there's a lot of zombies blocking a couple paths on their way, and they kind of get stuck in a one-way, right?
Yeah.
And they have to make this huge fucking stand against this entire crowd of zombies because they're just in a one-way and just completely fucked at this point, kind of. Like, they would either have to abandon everything and go with no equipment and probably just be fucked at that point, or they try to make a stand, and so they try to make a stand.
Mm-hmm.
I love the way it's portrayed because it's like it's the most protracted like battle ever. Like you can get a good sense of how much time passes throughout this whole thing. You know what I mean?
Right. So is that the one with the famous directing shot that people always like to talk about?
I think that might be the nicest thing anyone has called it. The famous directing shots, where the big titties bounce over through the boobs.
Well, it's that, and then also the fact that like he shoots the sniper by using her tits as like a bearing or something.
Yeah, like he stabilizes it. He like mounts the sniper on her tits. Yeah. Because the deal is she falls off the fucking car, right? And like
she's like stuck or something.
Well, she like sprains the shit out of her legs and back. Like she fucking violently falls out of this fucking car. Like, she
fucking broke, dude.
She like fucking cause they like swerve. Hit the fucking fence and she goes douche fucking falls out of this shit, you know what I mean? And she's got this huge ass fucking sniper attached to her, like strapped on her, right? Like,
she's got all those damn extra attachments on you. It's like Cat Shit 1 all over again.
Oh my god. Yeah, so it's like she's like fucked at this point, and so split second he has to jump down and help her, or like not really help her so much as make her not die.
Yeah.
So they kind of have to fight because it's like, I have to carry her back to the fucking Humvee, and we can't pull the Humvee out of here. There's too many zombies, and we're in a one-way. So yeah, they make a fight, and he's like, well, I want to use the sniper. It's on her, whatever, fuck it. We're just going to fucking use the sniper on her ass, you know? Like, that's just, it's really funny, honestly.
Yeah.
I remember reading an interview about the show where... Specifically, what they said was they tried to find unique ways to use boobs in the context of this show. And
yeah, well, I'm a little bit inventive myself.
I'm something of an inventor, like. So I mean, fucking mission accomplished, right? Like,
yeah.
I don't think there's
and
any
people are
other
still
shows
talking
where,
about that shit when they're like, "This is the kind of anime you guys watch."
Yeah, I mean, that's the one thing people remember this show about the most is the fucking titty sniping, right? Like,
yeah,
it's pretty fucking funny. Like, I don't know. Have you heard of the concept of like serious comedy before? Have you heard that term thrown around?
Yeah.
Yeah, so this show is a masterclass in that, where it's like, it's really fucking funny that he has a sniper mounted just on her tits, right? Like, and that's just how he's stabilizing it. And so, funny fan service show, but like, the characters are taking it really seriously, and the atmosphere is like, oh my god, are we gonna fucking die here? Like,
oh, I almost shot her in her fucking tits, dude.
Yeah, right. Like, dude's like they're giving these serious fucking expressions. There's like scared, anxious music playing, and it's like as her tits fucking.
Yeah, but then every time he shoots, she's like fucking. She's like moaning. It's just like. Yeah, alright, this is really serious. Like, no her though, she's fine.
Dude, this shit is mad funny. I can't lie.
It's because of how serious they take it, it makes it like even better almost, I think.
Right, like, do you like serious comedy is like, it's not really a thing in the US as much. Like, it's kind of a Japanese like special. It feels like, I feel like most people when they see something like that, it's kind of like, well, what the fuck, it ruins it. It's got to be one way or the other kind of thing, right?
Yeah.
I think it can definitely like add to how funny it is that it's like also they're taking it seriously kind of thing. Like Death Note is kind of the same thing in a lot of ways. Like it's a fucking goofy premise. Like haha, he's writing the name of a dude and they die, but it's also like a serious, like the characters are taking this shit really seriously because from their perspective, people are fucking dying, right? Like
right.
So I don't know. That shit is really interesting.
It's kind of like the one scene where he's like monologuing. He's like, "I take a chip and then I eat it."
Yeah, right.
And shit like that, where he's like over dramatizing everything. I think a really good example of serious comedy is also like Kuroko no Basket.
Oh, I haven't seen it. So.
Where they're just like, yeah, this dude just like, he just shoots full court shots, so we're just like, why the fuck does he do this?
Yeah, but it's like
just like dumb shit like that.
Yeah, it's just like another layer of funny because it's like not only is this goofy as shit, but we have to take it seriously to beat it. Like,
yeah,
that shit is magical.
This guy can shoot mirage shots. What? How? Don't make no damn sense.
Straight up some bullshit.
Yeah. That's definitely, I think, an underrated aspect of this show is like, I think it like takes itself seriously, but at the same time they know like not to take it too seriously.
Right. Being able to lead the audience by the nose kind of and have them asking the right questions rather than like, well, this is fucking stupid is pretty impressive.
Yeah.
I just fucking inhaled my water.
Pokiko's died. I gotta take over.
Take over.
Alright, so let's see. That was episode 8. I think because it ends, they get separated, right, at the end of... Or are they...
Yeah.
Because then it's Takeshi and Psycho time. Get a lot of fun interactions there where they go down the river.
Specifically, what happens is at the end, they're like Takashi and Psycho kind of break through a little bit because they're pretty out of ammo for the most part, and so like we're gonna try to lead a bunch of them this way,
Yeah.
And so they kind of escape and bring a good chunk of them as they get saved. So extremely unfortunate timing. Right? But, so at this point, they're like, well, we're too fucking far through the giant horde of zombies at this point. So they're like, whatever, we'll fucking meet up with them at their house and whatnot. Because they were going there already, right? To Takagi's house.
Yeah, sorry, I'm just reading the summary for this episode. Because there's a point where it's just like, oh yeah, so they get separated and they go to a temple, I think, right, or something, a shrine. This is where Psycho's like, yeah, I like killed this dude who tried to like rape me or whatever, and I enjoyed it, so I don't deserve to be loved because I'm a bad person.
Right.
And then I just read it, and it says Takeshi grabs her breast and tells her that he's always admired her and that she should live as herself. Giving her the motivation to defeat the zombies with a real sword.
Oh my god, dude.
Imagine be like, yeah, you got this, B. Just fucking grab her. It's like, it's like a pat on the back.
Dude, that shit is really goofy, but I really like that scene, honestly.
It was pretty fun, yeah.
Like, the characters in this show are, like, surprisingly nuanced for the most part. Like, okay, Psycho is, we're introduced to her, right? Oh, she's at number 1 in the Kendo Club. I won nationals or some shit like that, right? Like,
yeah.
Sword Samurai Girl, personality type A, honor Kendo God. You know, like,
really hot.
Right, yeah. I am very honorable samurai. I act like samurai. And it's like, oh, I see. But then it's also like, the more comfortable they get with the situation, the more she kind of like gets into it. Like, at the fountain, she's like, kind of going brazy on her, right? She's like having a good time with it, right? She's like, fucking doing all the special moves and slides and shit like that. That whole scene looks really fucking cool. Like, she's like baseball sliding under fucking zombies and shit like that. Like, that shit is mad cool. And then, like, the thing that trips her up is, oh, there's kids, and she's like, kind of thing. She's like pointing at a kid, I can't do it. And then Takashi's like, the fuck is wrong with your brain? And kills him and like helps her escape, right? And so she's like clammed up at this point. She like won't talk anymore, kind of thing. So I don't know. It's kind of interesting because at that point we're like, oh, she's like, she got trauma with kids. She can't kill kids or something like that, maybe, right? But it's like, it's not that at all. It's just like a kid was the most obvious way to like realize, oh, I am enjoying way too much killing people, like who are pretty powerless against me to an extent, kind of deal. So yeah, in the story, and it's like, yeah, I'm like sadistic, and he's like, oh no, well, you know, I'm gonna say this too. I've been having a fun time too, you know, like it's guns and shit. It was a good time. She's like,
pretty rad.
She's like, well, I was like this beforehand. Like, I beat up that dude. I almost killed him, kind of deal. She's like, yeah, I'm beyond saving, kind of thing. He's like, no, but okay.
I hear what you're saying, but also shut up.
Yeah. And then I do like the way it gets resolved, right, with the grope scene or whatever, where it's like, they have to escape. They're like, oh, hopefully there's no zombies. So, like, they find a sword in the shrine, right? They're like, oh, I hope there's no zombies. And it's like, oh, there's a shit ton of zombies somehow, even though they were completely quiet the whole time.
How the fuck they get here?
Yeah. So, and then it's like, well, I guess we gotta break out. And she's like, oh, I can't kill. I'm a monster, kind of thing. And I really like this characterization because it goes from like, up to this point, Takashi is kind of, he likes to portray himself a little bit as like, I did whatever it took kind of thing. But he always is like a nice guy in every scenario for the most part, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
A lot of protagonists kind of portray themselves like that, where it's like even Kirito in Sword Art Online is like, oh, I don't know, I might have to run away, like I might have to leave you kind of thing. But he always does the fucking nice guy thing, so it's like cringe or whatever, right?
He's talking up. Got nothing to back it up.
Yeah. Like, this one scene sticks out to me from Sword Art Online 2, where it's like, they're not sure if the death gun guy can actually kill them by killing them in the game. And he tells the main girl of that arc, he's like, if he points that gun at me, I might just abandon you. So it's like, no, you fucking won't. Shut up. Oh my god.
That reminds me of something that I liked about Konosuba so much, is that like when Kazuma says he'll do like fucked up shit, he means it. He'll do it. He does not care.
Yeah, no fucking joke, right?
Where he's just like, yeah, I'll leave your ass, Dark or Aqua, if you're the reason that I'm being attacked by undead, and then he actually does it.
Right. That shit is bad.
Shit like that.
Yeah, and so up to this point, we kind of have that impression of him. Like, he talks in his head sometimes. He's like, we just ran. We didn't think about it. We just did what we had to, kind of deal. But at this point, he is like, he says, well, shit, we have to get out of here. And I've already tried convincing her. She will not fight, right? And he fucking takes charge, grabs her from behind, and is like, you are gonna fucking help me. Specifically, he's like, I don't care what you think. I need you. You're not allowed to do shit. Like, we will die without you. You have to do what I say. I don't give a fuck. Like,
yeah.
Like, not even no, you're a good person. Like, oh no, please, we need your help. Like, fuck you, you're doing it, or like, whatever, then die. Like,
man, I want to do all this shit myself. Come on.
Yeah, right. That shit is very interesting. Just the way he's kind of like that's a pretty fucked up thing, honestly. Like, that's like kind of crossing the line where it's like, decidedly not a thing a good person would probably do, right? Like, to like the way he's like, I don't fucking care about you. You have to help us. Like, and it's funny because it resonates with her way better than like the fucking stupid nice guy act, you know? Mm-hmm. Like, and she kind of eventually it kind of clicks that it's like, well, fuck, I have to, and she just full on embraces it like a loony, right? Like,
she goes brazy.
Yeah, she goes brazy. And she takes the actual fucking sword this time and just cuts the shit out of all of them. Really cool looking scene again.
Wasn't that shrine her related to her somehow? Or am I thinking of something? I thought the sword.
Specifically what happens with the sword is she takes the sword to Takagi's dad, and she's like, oh yes, this sword is blah blah blah, no Masafune, blah blah blah. Like, I knew the guy who forged it. Like,
all right, that's what it was. Okay,
that kind of shit. But it's not like really directly related with her. But
yeah,
Takagi's dad though I think Takagi's dad was trained by her dad or helped in some big way. I remember they talk about that a little bit, which is pretty interesting.
Something like that. Dude, the summaries for the show just crack me up every time I read them.
It's pretty fucking funny.
Takashi checks on the damage he did on Ray's breasts. Well, I gotta do a healing check. You good?
Yeah, you good? Sorry about the titty sniping, by the way. Like,
yeah, my bad.
My bad, bro. My bad. No. But yeah, I like that scene because people have talked about this before in videos I've seen, but it kind of sets up a little bit, like, in this moment, rather than solving her problem, he kind of just is like, you are a tool to me at this point, and I need you to work, right? Like, and so it's like, is that going to bite him in the ass later, maybe? Like,
if she has to, yeah, because they kind of just push it off instead of confronting it, more or less.
Right, yeah. And it's like she embraces the crazy. I mean, at the end of that scene where it's like, she kills the zombies, when she does like the final like big slash where she kills like fucking 4 of them in a shot, right? This is the goofiest shit. There's a title card, like, it does a big slash, and there's a title card, and she moans, and the title card says, I'm wet.
I forgot about that.
Yeah, right? And it's like, she is getting off to this, right? Like, completely embrace the sadism, right? Like,
shit, well, I mean,
yeah. So it's like pretty fucked up character overall, but like there's a lot there to talk about for sure. The way it ends, that episode specifically ends, is like they make their way to Takagi's mansion at that point because she's a fucking rich kid, stupid ass rich kid, fucking bitch. But I remember specifically the scene in the dub always fucking cracks me up here because they're walking there and like, oh man, we can see the mansion now. And she stops him. She's like, hey Takashi, did you mean what you said back there? And he goes, hells yeah! Like, he's doing this big fucking squeak. He's just like, hells yeah, man! Like, it's the goofiest fucking shit. Oh my god. But like, he does double down on it, which is really fucking funny. I don't know. Like, that whole exchange is super interesting to me.
It's a good, like, subversion of what you think would happen. In a sense, because, like, in most cases you're used to being like, oh, this is where the big character personality confrontation comes in. Right,
and they fix her. Or maybe the guy doesn't confront it at all, and it's like, oh, she's the yandere waifu, you know what I mean? Like fucking Mirai Nikki type shit.
Pushes up glasses.
Right. And it's like, they kind of do neither, and he's like, he acknowledges it, but he's like, I am too stupid to fucking fix you. You have to.
I don't know what the fuck to do. You better just do your job.
I tried using my words at you, idiot. Like,
honestly, that kind of resonates with me, though. Just being like, damn, sorry to hear that, but we need to kill some zombies.
Dang, That's great, or sorry to hear that happened. Oh
yeah,
God.
exactly.
Yeah, that shit is pretty cool. So they go to Takagi's parents' house, and they have a whole fucking encampment. They're like rich people. They have a bunch of servants and shit like that, right? Because her dad's like a big politician, right? Also, big samurai sword guy. Big strong fucker.
Big strong fucker.
Yeah. Angry man. Angry samurai man. What scenes stand out to you from those episodes when they're in the house? Like, I got a couple to talk about, but
there's a few. I know specifically at one point, I think Rei tries to come on to Takeshi again. Or Takashi. I keep calling him Takeshi.
Takeshi's challenge.
Yeah. And it's like, it's so weird, because I'm pretty sure at this point, he's like, pretty much over, and he's like, yeah, I'm kind of looking at Psycho now. She kind of looking nice, not gonna lie.
Kind of, yeah. But also, like,
they obviously do still have some feelings as, like,
right.
childhood friends or whatever.
It's hard to tell whether you really get the feeling whether he's ever honestly considering Psycho. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
Does he, like, oh, friend, and also I use you. I literally use you as tool to kill zombies. Like, are there feelings there? Kind of hard to tell.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's pretty clear that she likes him, at least. Or, like, some weird, malformed love. I don't know if it's, like, traditional love or whatever.
Yeah, like...
Or if it's, like, this guy enables me to be, like, a fucking weirdo, so I kind of like that.
Right. I could definitely see that.
So yeah, it's an interesting love triangle, maybe would be the correct word, I guess.
Kind of, right? But also it's like, that's a scary fucking love triangle, because that's the girl who just, like, we now understand is, like, completely sadistic and will do some crazy shit.
Yeah.
Right? So it's like, you could definitely, like, in my head, I'm thinking I could definitely see down the line that some real shit breaks out between her and Rei, right? Like, I don't know.
Some conflict of sorts, yeah. I'm sure. I'm trying to remember what happens with Rei Fila. Because he definitely doesn't, like, turn her down explicitly, I don't think, so.
Right.
I mean, they do kiss, so.
Yeah. It's also implied that when Takashi and Psycho are together, they do a lot of stuff at the temple, right? Like, yeah. It kind of cuts and fades to morning when they start kissing, so. You know.
Yeah. So that kind of, it's like an interesting, there's definitely like conflict, because Rei's now like, wait, this guy kind of hot because he saved me.
Right.
Maybe I misjudged him as being like a coward or useless or whatever she called him before.
Right, yeah, for sure. I mean, Kota is way cooler at this point, right? Like, he's very well established.
Oh, yeah, that scene I really like too, is because I think the reason they leave the manor is because they want to take Kota's guns. And Takashi's like, hell no, dude, that's his shit. I'd do that to him.
I really love that fucking scene, because, oh my gosh, Best Guy Ever has a video about this show, and he talks about that scene. The way he specifically phrases it is he's like, Kota's like on the ground, because the adults are like, oh, he's just a kid, he can't have the guns, because he's like fucking 17, right? Like,
yeah.
Like, you can't have that guns, but it's like, we know that this dude does good work, and he probably is better than anyone with these fucking guns, right? Like, wouldn't have anyone else on the entire planet working with him than him. So it's like, man, and he's gained so much, like, self-confidence and development from, like, having something he can be really good at and useful now. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And fucking Best Guy Ever specifically, he's like, oh man, a character finally realizing his purpose in life and what he can do to make other people happy and be useful to society. Yeah, that's not relatable at all. Like, good fucking character, dude. Like,
yeah, I really, because they stick up for him, and it's like probably cathartic to him too, because it's like the first time he's had like support like that.
Right, for sure. Because, like, these guys have seen, yeah, this dude is fucking reliable. He has saved our ass a shit ton of times. Right? Like,
I don't remember if that's after they, like, turn Shido down, or before, if they try to take his guns. So
I don't really remember. I think I want to say after, but I'm not sure.
Yeah, the manor is probably like maybe I have some cool stuff, but it's pretty like low key most of the time. There's not a lot to talk about.
Not a ton happens over time. They kind of start fighting a little bit throughout the whole thing, because it's kind of like they had like a pretty clear like hierarchy and like what they wanted to do at this point, but now they're in a situation where it's like there's figures above them, like her parents, and like they have this whole other order, and they don't really need to do anything at this point to help. Like they're kind of just chilling here, you know what I mean? So like they kind of don't have a purpose at this point, you could say. And a lot of characters have a lot of mixed feelings at this point about each other, so tensions kind of rise. Do you remember the fucking scene where they're trying to decide what to do next? Like, they're trying to decide, like, do we move on as a group or not? And Takagi says some mean fucking shit I don't remember at all. Oh, yeah, she's, like, shitting on her parents or something, and it's like, these guys are like, well, your parents have been fucking helpful. They saved our ass, kind of. And she's just like, she fucking hates them, right? Because, I don't know, they expect too much out of her, and all this kind of shit. Right?
Rich kid problems.
Yeah. Do you remember fucking Takashi like gets pissed at her and like fucking picks her up by the shirt and is like, you remember that shit?
It sounds familiar.
He picks her up by the shirt and he's like, you're just fucking useless. You've been just a complete fucking tool this whole time. You're not as cool as you think you are, kind of shit. Like, he shakes the shit out of her. Like, she's bawling and everything. That is a crazy fucking scene. Like,
and Takashi's fucking rough.
Yeah, like, tensions are building. And this shit, like, there's all kinds
it's an interesting dilemma, because they essentially, like, they gained independence and then they have to risk giving it up and putting their trust in these people that they don't really know the clear intention of. Right. Yeah, because it's like, with a zombie show, it's like, part of the appeal is societal norms are broken and, like, you can do what you want. You can be at the top of the hierarchy of your friend group or whatever kind of shit. Like, you can, like, all these social standings are reset. But now, after getting a taste of all that uniqueness and being their own coherent group, being able to make all their own decisions, suddenly we're forced back into it, where it's like, oh shit, we have to listen to the adults again. Like, that kind of thing. Yeah. It's really interesting. It's always like a survival of the fittest type thing. Right. So yeah, that shit is pretty wild. There's not a ton to say about the scene with, like, Shido and them. It's pretty raw. Like, I don't know. Takagi's dad's kind of a cool guy, because, like, he's kind of a tool a little bit. He's, like, really, well, we will do exactly as I say kind of guy. Really, what's the word? Stubborn. But he's also kind of, like, he lets them make their own decisions a lot. Like, he decides that Koda can keep the guns after seeing them all stick up for him. And he's like, well, Ray, we'll leave it up to you. Do you kill Shido or not? Like, and yeah, like, and she ultimately decides not to. Yeah, she's like, doesn't she? I think she holds like a bayonet to his face or something. Yeah, she like fucking scratches the shit out of him with it. It's kind of funny. Yeah, I don't know. And then, you remember, we also get that weird fucking scene with, like, the people in the camp who haven't really been outside, like, thinking it's a hoax, kind of. You remember that? Where it's like, you got the one really stupid looking lady who's like, they're just trying to scare us and make us do what they say, and they're like, what are you talking about? We literally were out there. And like, hey, adults are talking, kind of shit. Oh yeah, in the manor. Okay. Yeah, in the manor. That kind of shit is like, it's funny because it's one of those things where you're like, this is so stupid. What the fuck are they talking about? Like, that would never happen. It's like, COVID deniers. Oh. Like, oh no. Like, oh god, this is real. Like, dude, it is really funny because you watch shows and you're like, dude, people can't be this stupid, and then you go to real life, you're like, people are more stupid sometimes. It's crazy. Like, yeah. You know how many dumbasses there'd be if something like this happened. Mm-hmm. Oh, I don't believe in it. They told me on QAnon that. Yeah. Okay. President Trump is fighting it. Don't worry. Like, he's undercover as yeah. fucking Kermit.
Oh my god, that shit is. Yeah. Other than that, there's not a ton else that happens. Like the last episode is big fight, zombies breaking in the mansion, and eventually our group is like, well, we gotta get the fuck out of here, right? Not a ton to say there. It's pretty cool scene. Like there's a lot of good fights that happen that are interesting.
I think the manor starts on fire.
The manor
at some point.
I think so. Yeah. Oh yeah, and there's a fucking EMP. Remember that?
Oh yeah.
They fucking launch a whole ass EMP. It's like, wow, my phone and car do not work. Except the Humvee still works.
Yeah, the EMP is what caused them to break into the manor. Because I think.
Oh yeah.
The dude driving the bus crashes or something because of the EMP, Sheeta or whatever.
Right. And then it's like they can't really self-sustain as well, and there's not as much communication because of fucking whole ass EMP. Yeah, that just reminds me that in the background there's all the shit being built up of countries are thinking about declaring nuclear war because it's like, well, our whole fucking chain of succession is dying. Like we see the U.S. The president is bitten, the president's aide is bitten, the vice president is already dead, or maybe this was already the vice president. And it's like they're 4 people deep in the fucking chain of succession, and they're like, what do we do? And it's like, do we launch nukes? Because other people are definitely thinking about it, and it's like we might not have the opportunity to retaliate if we don't now, kind of shit.
Yeah, there's a lot of subtle world building. I don't know if I'd say subtle.
Yeah.
It kind of happens in the background in little scenes of how other countries are kind of responding.
Right.
Which is usually, that's pretty common with zombie shows. So I don't know if it's anything too special, but.
Maybe. I don't know. I feel like it's a uniquely worldwide approach, kind of.
Mm-hmm. Well, I'm trying to what are there any really popular zombie animes?
Anime?
I mean, I Am a Hero, but that's more of a.
That's
it's not really an anime. Yeah.
It's not also not super. It's
I Am a Hero is also a lot more supernatural. There's a lot more mutations and stuff, weird shit like that.
Right.
I'm trying to think. I feel like there are. I mean, I was gonna say first thing I came to mind was fucking Koriwa's Zombie Disc, but I was like, no, that's not right. That's not right.
First thing I was thinking of Zombieland Saga.
Oh yeah, okay. I haven't seen that show, but
that show's really fucking funny. Well. That show is it has ups and downs for sure, but the first 2 episodes are oh my god.
Yeah.
I guess it's not really a super. I'm trying to think of any really notable zombie anime specifically.
Yeah, maybe it's a lot less common than I thought it was. I just think US has so many zombie flicks and stuff, so maybe it's warped my view a little bit.
Right, you got Zombieland, fucking Zombieland 2 type shit. There's so many zombie movies in the US.
Mm-hmm. Fucking Shaun of the Dead.
Right. Yeah, I don't know. But yeah, eventually, they decide to do the EMP, right? And it's wow, this has pretty big implications because a lot of cars don't work now, or even their car has to get kind of fixed to make sure it completely works. And no lights anymore for a lot of places. They have a power generator, but all that kind of shit.
Right.
It's a big fuck off. Holy shit! Wow, everything is fucked. I don't know. Other than that, they just leave the area, and it's yep, sure, going on.
Yeah, finale's it leaves a lot to be desired because obviously it was not meant to be the finale.
Right. But yeah, it's just it kind of just ends, right?
Yeah, it's not very unsatisfying.
Right, and obviously the manga was ongoing at the time. Manga obviously no longer a thing because the author and main writer died, not being continued or anything like that. Being said, so there's more stuff that could be adapted, but I don't think they would. I don't think they could make a whole another season out of the manga mall arc and all that kind of stuff. You could make 6 episodes or something, right? But
yeah, an OVA or 2.
Right, but it's not really worth doing at this point for the most part.
Yeah, it's not exactly like, I don't know how popular. The show was pretty popular, I think, when it came out.
Right. Like, it's kind of hard to tell. Like, not that many people talk about it anymore, but people definitely did talk about it for a long time.
Yeah.
I'm going to look up on now how many members it has. Popularity 57, members over 1 million. So this is a show a lot of people have seen, but I don't know. It's not really a show people are like going out of their way to watch anymore. I mean, partially like we talked about, it's got a bad rep for being like a fan service show, right? Even though there's a lot of cool stuff in here and a lot of really good stuff. I don't know. If anyone was predisposed to watching the zombie show, like an anime specifically, this is like the one, I would say. You know what I mean?
Right. It's pretty, I mean, yeah. Now that I look at it, it's pretty much the definitive zombie anime.
Right.
Because, yeah, there's really not much else. I was always under the impression there were. I guess I was just didn't really look into
There's
it that much.
Stuff we don't know about, but like
a lot more niche stuff.
Right, not popular really. And there's like the fucking OVA. OVA, they get stuck on an island and dumb shit happens. Not very interesting.
Mostly ecchi.
Yeah, it's just kind of fan service shit.
Don't they like get like high or something? At one point?
They start a fire and the weeds they use to make the fire gets them like baked out of their fucking minds. Don't know how that works, but sure, yeah.
You know.
Oh, you know. Yeah, the weed? You mean literally weeds? Whoa.
Got some of that poison ivy fucking smoke in my veins.
Yeah, fucking poison ivy kush. Yeah. I don't know. Any other thoughts on the show overall?
No, I just like, man, I just wish it could have kept going. It's just really sad because I feel like there's so much they set up and never got to do anything with.
Right. Like, I think definitely more stuff with Psycho would have been really fucking cool.
Because, I think the characters, what they had, I feel like they explored them well enough that you could say, like, yeah, these are good characters, luckily. Mm-hmm. Like, it wasn't something like ReZero where you have a character introduced and they don't get, like, development, like, until 3 arcs later and stuff.
Right.
And, like, because that impact a show when people don't know how long a show's going to be or what's going to be adapted.
Yeah, for sure.
So luckily they were able to focus a lot of it kind of early on. Yeah, I don't know. It's just a good show.
Yeah.
It's very enjoyable.
Yeah, go ahead.
It's just overall, super enjoyable, and I don't think the fan service should be something that puts you off to it.
Right.
So I think a lot of the action and like themes in it explored are just really good. So.
Right, like there's a lot of scenes that I think are like really solid writing or like really interesting to think about still.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, definitely like throughout this whole thing, kind of reading over it, thinking about what I like about it, it's kind of hard to convey a lot of the stuff because it's kind of like, yeah, this scene looks really good and there's a lot of like, it's well directed and I enjoyed the fight kind of shit. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like, there's definitely a lot of shots in the show that like stick out in my mind. It's just like so easy to watch, you know, like it's a good ass time.
Pretty much. I think it's a lot of fun with friends too. Like,
yeah,
it's a good show to watch with other people. Just kind of shoot the shit over.
Right, for sure. You ever watch there's an abridged of this show? You ever watch that shit?
I feel like I have at some point. Who is it by?
Oh, it's just like this is like one.
Is it just like a random one? Okay.
Yeah, some random ass fucking people. I remember a friend of mine watched that shit a billion times. It's funny because they have, in that bridge they have like one main guy who's a good voice actor. He voices like Takagi's dad, and a bunch of other random fucking people. And it's like his Takashi impression is like, it's so close to the dub. Or like maybe better in a lot of ways. Like he captures that shit perfectly. It sells it so hard. But
that's really good.
It's really funny.
I'll have to probably look into that.
Yeah, but man, the thing with the bridges is like a lot of
Bridges
them don't
it,
hit their
yeah.
stride till like fucking
Right.
halfway through, and there's so much like, oh god, you could really tell this was like 2010. Holy shit! Like, lol, can I have a cookie? Like, oh god, enough out of here.
One other thing of the show, I feel like if the trashy, like the quote unquote trash, I don't even think it's that trashy, but like the visual fan service, but I think like all the dialogue is like really well written and it's not weird most of the time.
Yeah, I agree. Like I was talking about earlier, I think a lot of the conversations are like very realistic and like human conversations. Sometimes in a lot of shows with, I mean, fucking anime high schoolers and shit like that, sometimes they just portray these fuckers as like, this is not a human I am listening to speak. Like, or it's like, time to monologue about what I think. Or like, this is how I make my decisions. How do you make your decisions? And it's like, Takashi is one of those characters where it's like, there's a bunch of times he tries to explain himself, but it's like, you can definitely feel he's not the kind of guy who is really able to put his thoughts into words always, or like super accurately speak how he thinks. Like, I don't know, one of the parts that's emblematic of that to me is like, he tries to like help Psycho and be like, no dude, you're rad, like, no, this shit is, you're
pretty
good.
cool, dude.
You're pretty cool, okay?
I'm just thinking of that image with the sad cat with the thumbs up.
Yeah, it's like he just fucking can't convince her. He's just like, no, like, I don't know. That shit is really.
That shit's too real. It's too real, dude.
Yeah, it's like, oh yeah, just fucking talk the girl who hates herself out of it. Just no, dude, come on, you're good, bro. You're
Trust
good,
me, random guy. I think you're cool.
Well, I think you're pretty cool. Like, yeah, okay, dude. Try talking someone out of hating themselves. I'm sure you'll do it in a conversation. Like,
yeah.
Nah, they do a lot of dialogue fantastic in this show, I think.
Because I think, thinking back to the rating scale that you use, or I don't know, do you have a paste pen for that or whatever?
I do have a paste pen of it. I can pull it up real quick.
Okay. I'm trying to remember like the difference between an 8 and a 9 for me. Because I was like, there are times where I've considered this show a 9, and there are times when it's just like kind of comes and goes.
Right. Yeah. It's like, for me, yeah, this is definitely like right on that border of like, I don't know, but I like to be charitable to shows where it's like I could just watch this shit any day of the week and be like, have a good time with it and not get bored. I kind of feel the same thing about like No Game No Life, where it's like I've rewatched that show a billion fucking times because it's just 12 episodes, or it's like 11 episodes or some shit.
Do you know Game No Life? I mean, that's a show we'll probably also talk about at some point, but it's so upsetting. There's like so much more they needed to do that they just haven't because the anime hasn't had a second season yet.
Yeah.
Because is it a light novel?
It is a light novel, yeah.
Okay. I might have to read it sometimes. I do like reading light novels, so.
I think the light novel's still ongoing. I'm not sure.
Is it?
I have no fucking idea. I'm not going to pretend to know.
Hopefully it's like pretty far.
It goes further for sure, but
yeah, so 8's like very cool show. Didn't quite appeal to me on a raw personal level. Still likely to revisit. Yeah, it's pretty accurate.
Right. Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I would, like I said, I would give the show probably a 9, but it's like right on the cusp where it's like maybe an 8 kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
I would fucking recommend this to pretty much anybody who I was like knew wouldn't be like, fan service? Are you cringe, dude? Like,
anime's ruining this country.
Rand Paul gonna make anime real. No. I don't know. This is definitely a hard show to recommend though, because like,
yeah, it's got a bad stigma, which is unfortunate.
Yeah, very, very sad, very sad.
But I think, like, most of the people who have watched it all the way through, like, rate it pretty highly, from what I understand.
Right. I mean,
it's like, what's the average rating on Mal?
The average rating on Mal is actually 7.14, which is, like, very average, I would say.
Yeah, I guess, because Mal is, like, pretty inflated averages.
Yeah, like a 7 is around average on Mal. Yeah, and, like, if you look at the top reviews, it's, like, top review, 2 out of 10, 3 out of 10, 7 out of 10, 2 out of 10. It's like a lot of people like what does this fucking 2 out of 10 review say? One could review this in a single sentence. Why is no one having sex in this hentai anime? Here's the plot, boobs, blah blah blah. It's like, okay, dude. Like,
I love reading reviews where like, did they watch the show?
Yeah, right.
Or did they just like put it on in the background and be like, yeah, I'll watch this?
Oh yeah. I was on my phone the whole time. Like,
I was playing I was queued up in Counter-Strike.
Fucking practicing on aim labs, bro, and oh shit,
I think I saw a part with some duties, so I know that's what this show's about.
Yeah. This show just flows together really well, honestly.
Yeah.
It's sometimes I felt it remembering kind of this stuff. Like I'm looking at the episode summaries, right? Of course, and it's like going through these episode summaries. It's like sometimes where an episode ends and begins kind of blurs together in my mind a little bit, just because like it's a pretty seamless transition. Sometimes.
Yeah, I had to look up like which episode is which because for me it like all kind of fit together into one nice little like sequence, I guess. They not like a few like the first episode feels really distinct in my mind, but after that it just felt like it was all like flow. The pacing I felt was like really good.
Right. Yeah. The only parts you could like have issues with the pacing are like maybe the mansion a little bit.
Yeah, maybe
like,
the house because there was like one episode that was like mostly fan service, but I don't know.
Right. Yeah. But like we were saying, even then there's a lot of shit happening in the background, like the whole fucking bridge stuff.
Yeah. It was interesting because I'm pretty sure the fan service kind of bounced between that and then also like the dad fucking dying. So.
Yeah.
It's kind of like an interesting parallel.
Yeah, jeez. Well, I don't have a whole lot else to say about this show.
Yeah, honestly, I had more to say than I thought I would, so.
Yeah, I mean, definitely. Pretty much sums up my thoughts. I'm pretty good. I don't know. Anything else you want to end on?
It's a good show. Give it a watch. Don't listen to cringe people telling you not to watch anime.
So true. Okay, well, thanks for watching, everybody. We'll probably call her there. I don't know what show we'll do next on this. Kind of depends, but...
Cat Girl Detroit Become You.
Cat Girl Detroit Become Human. Fuck yeah, dude. Oh my fucking god. That shit is so funny. Okay, well, I am good, man. So, see y'all in the next one.
Goodbye. Epic.